Okay.
All right.
Sounds good. All right. Good morning, everyone. I hope everyone's doing well on this snowy, cold morning. I didn't expect to see all this outside today, but I guess we live here, so we should be used to it. So my name is Andrea Colleen. I work at Consumer Credit Counseling Service of Rochester. And what we do, I'll tell you a little bit about. Some of you may have attended the presentation last time, but we help people with managing their money and their debt. If people get a little overwhelmed or in a different position or financially or just need guidance to figure out how to fix their credit, pay off their bills, or just manage their money better, we are an organization that can help people do that. So that is something that if you need to get connected to, we can definitely help you with that. But today our goal is to do a presentation, and that will be about building a strong financial future. All right, so I will check the chat box periodically throughout the presentation, and hopefully we can get to everyone's questions. If not, we'll get to the questions again at the end of the presentation. I'll try to do a little bit throughout and then definitely at the end. So our topic is building a strong financial future. So a little bit about us, as I stated, we are a local nonprofit credit counseling agency. We've been in the area for 50 years. We want to say thank you so much for attending today. We hope this serves you well, and we really want to do anything we can to support members of our community. As far as our mission, our focus is on the financial health of individuals and families, helping those that we serve to achieve financial wellness through our programs and services. We're also a member agency of the National Foundation for Credit Counseling. We are a licensed to the New York State Department of Financial Services, as well as a HUD-approved housing counseling agency. And we're also a member of the Better Business Bureau with an A+ rating. So we offer one-on-one counseling, but we also do presentations just like we're doing now. We partner with different organizations sometimes we do, like I have one tomorrow with the Brighton Library that anybody can attend. But we put these on so anybody could go to our website, go to our calendar, and see what's going on if you're interested in taking on more information. So here's my contact information. I'll make sure we get you connected with this as well. So what we're going to do is we're going to review a few statistics. We'll go over the 7 steps to building a solid financial future, and then help people get connected if they need that. So a few statistics trivia, so we could see where we are with things right now. A lot of this is pre-COVID, before COVID started, but we'll talk about what's going on too. So just a few things to get our mind going. So a blank percentage of Americans are spending more than they earn. So usually when I do these trivia questions, it's in person, so people kind of try to guess. Feel free to pop it in the chat box or say it. I don't know if you have permission to turn off to turn on your microphone or whatnot, but feel free to say what you think. I don't know if anybody's going to do this one, but a blank percentage of Americans are spending more than they earn. I'll just do this one. 52%. So that means over half of the people in our country spend more money than they earn. It's very easy to do that here. We probably have learned that or will learn that. There's lots of things to buy, lots of ways to get things quick, lots of ways to use credit or things like that to be able to get what we want. So it's pretty easy. I could see why that could be. So that means we want to have a plan, and we'll talk about that when it comes to budgeting. The average person's spending has increased by blank percentage in the last 25 years. I don't know if anybody wants to take a quick guess at that or not.
I'll say 75.
I heard someone say something. Ready? 30. So it's not just necessarily because things are more expensive. That's not what this is about. This is just saying we spend more money now than we used to in previous years. The average American spends how many dollars for every dollar earned? This is kind of a tricky one. Yeah. 5. That's good. Not quite that high, but not you're definitely onto something. So the average American spends $1.33. Again, it kind of ties right into that we're spending more than what we earn. 1 in blank Americans have more debt than savings. And I'm not talking about a mortgage loan or even student loans. This is more like a car loan, personal loan, credit card debts. So 1 in 4. So if you have 4 people in that room, one of those people has more debt than savings in most circumstances. Only blank percentage of Americans are setting up a monthly budget. This is a big one or a big topic. So half.
Say 4.
4, you got So half of us are setting up a budget. I don't know if the other half are setting up a budget and maybe not sticking to it. I don't know. I couldn't find that statistic. But a lot of people, many people just don't have a budgeting system. Maybe they're not sure how much money they have coming in the households or what expenses they have going out. But we don't want to be, we want to be on the other half of that. We want to have some kind of system, which we're going to talk about creating or maintaining today. And blank percentage regularly have monthly expenses in excess of income. So this means their basic expenses, the things they, whether it's their rent, their car, transportation, are always more than what they make. So they have no choice to either pay things late or use credit. That's about 21%. So it's not as high of a percentage, but for what that topic is, it's not, you know, we don't want to be put in that position, and people are. So it's hard. It's not easy. So when it comes to spending money, right, a lot of people like to spend money. It's not a bad thing. It's just we really want to have some kind of a plan, right, to stay on track, because it could get really ugly quick. So the decision to buy is the most basic and pervasive money management behavior. So it's not a good thing or bad thing. It's something that we all need to do. As an adult, we are responsible for maybe managing some bills or purchasing items for the household or our families. So we need to do it one way or the other. Everyone has a different perspective. I don't know if there's a right or wrong way. It just depends on what's going to help you reach your financial goals when it comes to spending money. Again, not that it's the easiest thing in the world. It does take some discipline. It does take some planning. And sometimes it's just challenging. But we still want to have some kind of a plan and know that one person can't say you're doing it wrong. You shouldn't do it like this. Everyone has a different perspective. A lot of times when even in a relationship, when there's 2 people in a relationship, it's not uncommon to have one person as more of a spender and one person as more of a saver. It all really depends on how we see it. And it might be because we grew up differently, you know, depending on values or experiences. So that's something to keep into consideration too. And the act of spending is neutral. It is not good. It is not bad. It is neutral, regular. We need to do it. I don't know if anyone can relate with this, but the act of spending could be tied to our emotions or how we are feeling. We might feel sad sometimes or a little bad or stressed, anxious. And sometimes buying something could make us feel a little better at that moment. So whether it's something for us to have, whether it's something for us, you know, a restaurant or, you know, dining out, things like that, it might give us a little bit of happiness. And if we make a habit of it, of spending when we feel sad or even happy, sometimes people get real in a great mood and they feel good, and then they buy more things, especially this time of year. I know not everybody does the holiday time, but even if you don't, it's still people are buying more things, they're spending money. So it's just something to kind of keep in consideration. That's why when you walk in the grocery store or even any store, they try to play on our emotion, whether it's music, the way the store smells, it smells good like a bakery. They make us have those memories and those emotions to help us even or to help us spend more money. Even commercials, that's really on the internet. There's all kinds of strategies to help trigger or make our emotions start thinking. And sometimes we will spend money on that we weren't planning on spending. Maybe money that should have been towards something else or saved for something for your future. 6% of our community or society suffer from a spending addiction. So spending addiction isn't talked about really, but it's very, very real. Where we just buy things to make us feel better, even if we can't afford it. And it can put somebody in a very bad place when it comes to their budget. Okay. So effective money management. So being on track with it, making it work. It takes discipline. So we want to really have a plan. You don't want to eliminate everything fun, but we want to be very aware, mindful of where our money's going. Not easy. Okay. It's very hard sometimes, but it can be done. But to be effective with managing money, we want to have some type of a motivation behind it. We don't want to just not, spend on this or do this or have a plan without some purpose. So the purpose might be saving money for a house, for a down payment, or a car, or a vacation, or for our kids, whether it's holiday, school in the future, things that they're going to need, health. There's so many things, but without having some kind of a purpose behind it, something to keep us motivated, we may not stick to that plan. That can be for many, many things, not just spending. It could be for being healthy, work, all kinds of things. So we want to create some type of a goal. So we're going to talk about that. Goals give us a sense of direction and purpose. So there's a reason behind it. So when I'm managing money and spending less, I might be doing that because I want it to go towards something bigger in the future, something that will help me and my family if that's the case. If we don't have a goal, it's like creating directions without knowing where we want to go, right? So that's just something to keep into consideration. So we have 7 steps that we're going to talk about when it comes to managing our dollars and building that strong financial future. So the first out of 7 steps, step 1, create your goal. So a budget is a plan for spending and saving. A budget means how much I have coming in, how much I have going out. Correcting our thinking to a positive perspective, making this is good. Sometimes people look at a budget or a spending plan and say, ugh, I don't want to do this. This is hard. I'm not going to be able to do anything fun. I feel like it's really frustrating. And it can be, but if we try to look at it as a plan to help us have more peace of mind, to feel better, to get things that we want in the future, to just know that things are being managed appropriately, there's a lot of positive outcomes, right? So thinking about it in a positive manner, our own plan typically works best. It's just a plan to spend the right way, and it serves it for a bigger purpose. So when we're creating the goal that we want, really sit down, write it out, and how does it connect to my values? How is it going to really help me? Like, is it make us happy, whether it's myself, my family? What is it that's, or give me that peace of mind? So what is it that's utmost of importance to me? Because it will help me stay motivated. So maybe I always use this as an example, and I don't know if it's good or not, but maybe buying a house. I'll just use that because it's a goal a lot of people have. We want to buy a house, or many people want to purchase a house because The value is for their family, their security. You know, they want more space for their children or to grow a family, a safer space, something that will help you build wealth in the future if we are able to maintain it properly. So the goal might be buying a house, but the value is because it's going to serve a greater purpose. So whether it's a house, a car, a vacation, anything, I use that as an example, but building my retirement. Another one, here's one I should have said already, and it doesn't sound fun, but it is a good thing. Building an emergency money. So when we have money coming in, which we'll talk about that, and then we're paying our bills and getting everything in order, if there's a little bit that we can set aside for our goal of an emergency money, that can help us with our value because our values, because that can give us more security. So if the car breaks down, I know that I have something to get it fixed, you know, versus not having any money to get it fixed, then missing work, causing stress, reducing income. It's all connected. So having some kind of an emergency fund would be a very good example of a goal and connecting it to why it's important. Um, and that's something a lot of people don't do. And a lot of people might end up using credit or I've known plenty of people over the years who have, I mean, I hate saying this, but lost jobs over transportation, you know, and it's definitely not an easy thing. But if we own a vehicle, part of owning a vehicle, this is just me talking now. It's just saving, you know, having an emergency money for something that goes wrong, right? But that's just an example of how it can be used as a goal and linked to things that are important for us. So how we manage our money affects our values. It can either make it better or make it worse to support or detract. Just having more money isn't going to make everything go away or everybody's stress go away unless we have a plan for managing it, right? So sometimes people will say, if I just made more money, everything would be great. That's true for anyone, but only if we're managing it and we have a plan for it. There's people who've won millions of dollars that might be in a worse financial position 5 years later than they were before they had the money. And that could be because it's stressful. You know, we think we have a lot of it, we're spending money, we're doing this, we're doing that, we're good, and then suddenly something happens, an unexpected expense or whatnot, and it could put someone in a not good position, right? So money is a tool. If it's used properly, it can be used to build good things. If it's not, boy, is it stressful. Very stressful. That's the number one thing in our nation that stress is the number one concern, I should say, that makes people stressed is money. So when we're creating our goal, we want to be specific, write it out, have a plan. What is it that I'm trying to do? Or to save for. So you write out what it is, about how much money you would need, the amount, when you would like to achieve the goal, and budget it out. So say, just for an example, my goal is to save $600 in 1 year. $600 over 1 year would be 12 months. So that would be 600 divided by 12 is $50 a month. If it's every other week, it's $25 a week. If it's every week, it's about $12 a week. So if I save $12 a week in 1 year, I would have $600 in an account for an emergency or something that I want to do, right? So just think about it, you know, having that plan. And then consider those outcomes that you're going to desire. I mean, the outcome could be reaching that goal, purchasing that home, buying that car, paying off debt, fixing credit, all that good stuff. But do you know what some of the outcomes, if you reach that goal, but during that time, you create really good habits. You're smart about our money. We're less, what's the right word I can use here? Less of a chance to fall for a scam or identity theft because we're more aware. Our credit score can go up because we're paying everything on time. So though that might not be the ultimate goal, these little things can happen and make our lives better while we're trying to make these plans, right? Many people don't do this. You saw in those first statistics, a lot of people, they don't have that plan. And it doesn't need to be perfect. It just needs to work for you to help you reach those goals. And the number one goal too, that I think a lot of people, I don't even know if it's a goal, but one of the number one outcomes is just being able to not stress, sleeping at night, having peace of mind, knowing that there's a little something set aside if we need it. It feels so good, especially with what all you're doing, by the way. Good for you, going to school, finishing your, your certificates or getting your diploma. That's a big, big deal. You're working on that and you're working hard on that. And when you're reaching that goal, if we start to organize this or make it even better, you can have a lot of opportunity, a lot more opportunity and a lot less stress. Okay, you ready? Step 2 out of 7. Find your bottom line. What does that mean? That means, what does my budget look like? So I'll get you copies of these for your records. I promise. As soon as we're done, I can send these out. This is just a budgeting worksheet so you can see how much money you make and how much money you spend. And if you need help with this, I know I mentioned it last time, we can get you connected with one of our counselors. I'll talk about the different services we have, but looking at your money you make in a month, how much your monthly expenses are, so you can look at your bills, a bank statement, things of that nature, and then do a comparison. This is what I make a month, and this is what I need to support my household. This is what I need to make sure all of my bills are paid. My rent, my utilities, my mortgage, my car, my insurance, transportation, food, all of that. Now, that's a good start. So this is just an example. This is just an example. Okay, so somebody makes $1,700. They have their fixed expenses. They have their flexible expenses. So all of this, it really, just depends. But we have 2 sections for the budget. Fixed expenses are expenses that stay the same every month. We know we have to pay them. Rent, car payment, insurance, maybe daycare expenses, healthcare expenses, stuff we know we have to pay. The flexible expenses are usually lower, but harder to manage because we might think they're lower, but by the time we're done and we said, uh-oh, man, my gas and electric bill is higher than I thought it was going to be. Wow, I overspent on groceries or food for the month. Transportation, I might not know exactly how much I need for gasoline or things like that. So trying to get a good order of those is helpful. These are always going to change, right? We want to make sure our fixed expenses are paid. That's our number one concern, and that we have, things that we need in the household. But when it comes to the flexible, sometimes it could get a little challenging, right? So we want to create the worksheet, or kind of know what we need to support. Step 3 out of 7 is evaluating everything, pulling it all together. This is the part that people don't like, but it's okay. It's not well, you might like it actually, because it's a good thing. So this is an example, of a spending journal. This is where we spend, this is where I get a notebook or a piece of paper, and at least for just 1 week. It's not, it's not the funnest thing, but it does help you. Where did my money go? Maybe we think we know where it went. Maybe we have a good idea of like where it went. We might not know where every dollar went. And where a lot of times people spend a lot more money than they realize is on food, groceries, dining out. I think people spend more. I know our household does. I could spend more on that than some of the fixed expenses if we're not careful. So of course we need to buy that stuff, but it's important to be mindful about how much we're spending and what we need. So this is just a journal. They kept track for 1 week, and you could see they bought little things, little things. It's not that much money. It's $10 here, 15 for groceries. They bought a lottery ticket, little lunch. So it's not a lot. They put gas, they got a snack from the vending machine, lunch money, maybe they smoke coffee. They went to the drive-through, they got something quick in the morning, grabbed lunch again, got a movie, little things, car wash. So over the course of the week, they spent $175. And that could be a lot of money. That might not be a lot of money. It all really just depends. But one thing is certain or true. If we didn't write it down, we would have had no idea how much money we spent. I mean, or at least keep track of it somehow. It could go quick. So just having a plan for that can help us to save more money to reach those goals. Right? So step 3 was keep track of it. Step 4 was, now that I'm like, okay, I did my budget. Now I did a little journal so I could see where my money is really going. Now I can see if I can make any adjustments. So adjustments would mean making more money to support our expenses, right? Which obviously not, we can't always just do that, but that's one of the ways. Or spending less money and according to our income and our expenses. Everyone's different. So we're not here saying don't do this or don't buy that. That's not our goal. Our goal when we're educating you is, or talking, or just, communicating here, is just to have us look at things and be mindful and aware. And if we have to make a few changes, it's for the good. So, or we may not need to, but revisiting it or keeping track, staying on track a lot can help us, right? So, or we could do a little bit of both. Maybe there's other like benefits we could qualify for that we didn't know existed, or maybe there's tax returns we could use to set aside and save. How about if people are in college and they get money back from, can't think of the name of it, but like their financial aid. Sometimes when people are in college and maybe they get like a reimbursement through their financial aid if they didn't need as much money through their loan, they could get a decent amount of money back, and that could be a good way to start a savings. A lot of people don't do that though. They just kind of spend it. And we don't, it's not a good thing to do. We wouldn't have a plan for that, right? Because those little things could add up. Looking at our wants and our needs. Everyone is different. Every time is different. Something that could have been a want a year ago with all this virus and pandemic happening could be a need now. Everything changes, but we want to stay aware of that and know what we're getting, things that we're purchasing or using money for or creating our goals for, to really think about that. A need is something necessary to support us or our family or dependents. So food is a need, shelter is a need, and we probably know that. A want is anything other than a need. So a want is some type of food or dining out, right? So food might be a need, but coffee is a want. No, I'm just kidding. Coffee's a need. No, there's different things that could fall into that. So just making ourselves aware, and it's different for everyone. Decide if I do have to cut back on something. Be realistic. Start with small things, and know where our money's going. Maybe it's dining out. I'm using that as an example because so many people do that. I know we could too. We've got to really watch it. But maybe we look back and say, oh my goodness, in the last month after I went through all of my, I kept track of it. I thought, I was spending $25 a month on dining out, but I spent $125. So maybe I will try to cut it down to $50 a month or $60 a month and just make sure that I know what we're getting. right? So just an idea. Now, oh, I'm sorry. This thing is supposed to be funny. That's just, I hate the slide, but I like all the stuff up here. So ways to save. And this is the fun part where we usually say, I do this and I do that, but it's a little harder to do that on Zoom. But general, so don't spend the next raise, or if we have money coming through. If I pay something off, continue making those payments. So maybe I had a little debt that's gone and it was $100 a month or $50 a month, that maybe I could take that money and do something different with it. So you could see, I'm not going to read every single one, but return recyclables for refund. This is a good one. Have a portion or have some of your money, if you're working, go automatically, or even if you're not, a little bit of money automatically go into savings for an emergency. Know your limitations of what you're allowed to have in there and what you need in there, but that's a nice way. Automatic. There were studies that show that when things are just done automatic, it makes it easier for us. There's been studies, it was when you on retirement and 401k. I don't know if you're familiar with that yet, but like retirement money, when you work and they just take some of your pay and they set it aside for your future retirements. If it wasn't automated, I can't tell you how many people would have no retirement, nothing. So make it automatic. Keep doing this automatic for ourselves, right? So those are some suggestions for groceries. I have one just for groceries. Maybe we could do that next month if you want me to. But don't shop when you're hungry, because we tend to buy more things. Don't shop by the unit price. I'm sorry, do shop by the unit price. So the unit price when you're shopping is how much it is per ounce or per pound. So whatever the item you're buying, it is usually for the groceries, things like that, because you can compare the unit prices to other items that are similar to figure out what is the best deal. So say laundry detergent, we might go for the one that's the least expensive, but there might be one that's a little bit more, but you're getting more for it. That's all a unit prices. Shop for groceries on a regular basis. Avoid pre-prepared food, things like that. Other good spending habits, check prices at different stores. 3 different, buying clothing out of season. So pretty soon, well, I don't know pretty soon, but probably February, March maybe, you'll see a lot of the winter things to start to go on sale. That might be a good thing to say, is that this year, if I know that we're going to need more winter things for next year, you get the, hats, gloves, scarves, you could probably get them for very, very low cost. So you have them to fit and new for next year if they're needed. Here's a good one for now. Determine realistic spending limits for holidays and birthdays. So that's a hard one, because sometimes you get swooped right away and everything. Just to make sure we have a plan for that. If we feel like we're overwhelmed this year, if we do the holidays, I know not everybody does that, but if we do, and we feel a little bit overwhelmed with the expense, come January, it's time to start planning for the next season. So even if that means saving $25 a month, $50 a month, something that fits in our budget, maybe that's our goal. We can start to set that aside, so next year we don't feel so stressed. I've done that, been there. Okay. So then other ways to spend. So if we're going to spend less money to try to save, how can I do it? What can I do? So for food, maybe it's use coupons, or buy generic item, right? Or go to different stores. I know we switched I started switching where I do my shopping and grocery shopping, because I don't know if anyone else has noticed, but groceries have increased a lot. They're the highest increase we've ever had since like 1974. So that's something to, really be aware of. So in the biggest increase was in I think eggs had like a 3 or 4% increase. It was huge. So there are things that are, we are spending more money on. So put dollar amounts. So insurance, here's some ideas. Make sure you're receiving the best benefits for health insurance, um, utilities, things like that. Sealed doors and windows. Utilize a budget plan. That's where you go to RG&E or Gas and Electric, and you have your bill um, the same every month. So instead of having a big bill in the winter and a low bill in the summer, it might be evened out throughout the year if it's helpful for you. So it all just depends. Let me just see here. Oops, sorry. Banking, other things we could do, credit, you could always call and try to reduce the rates, things like that. And then phone, this probably should be I'm sorry, other things. This should be updated. I don't even know that we have these anymore, but I think for phone, people do like prepaid phone services, things like that. Ways to increase income, yard sales, this is just an example for this person. Okay. They did a few things. Make sure people use their tax return wisely. It's so exciting to get that money. You know how many people now are spending more at holiday time because they know taxes are going to come? We don't want to do that. We want to have a plan for that, because if people receive significant tax returns, if they save that for a few years, you could have a lot of funds, saved and set aside to help with future items and purchases. Step 5 out of 7. So we talk about savings, having your plan. Now we do our new budget. See this new budget? Remember before, I don't think I said this, maybe you noticed it, but they were $100 short. Now they were able to increase their income a little, and they reduced some of their expenses. You could see like lunches, telephone, things like that. So now they have money left. Now they have $240 left, which is very good. But if we don't have a plan for that, it can just get fizzled away on little things that we don't even realize. So have your system. Step 6, have a guide. A balance sheet alone is good. So what that means is knowing what you need for the month and what you make for the month is awesome. Very, very good, strong start. But it's not a system. It's not a guide. We want to develop a plan. So what a lot of people use, I don't know if anybody does this, because they have a visual, but they use like a calendar, right? Or a little tracking sheet or something. You could do it. You have a phone? You could do it right on your phone. And the first thing you do is you go to your calendar and you put any of your pay dates in, and then your expenses. So this person has the things checked off that they've paid each week, or that they've already paid for. But it just kind of helps them to see every month, because even though we might know we need to pay for food or gas or anything of that nature, if we don't budget it out and plan it out, we could forget about it. Or until you're like, oh, I just paid all this bill and now I don't have enough left for groceries or daycare, or what I need. So have a plan for it. And this is just an example to show you, sometimes people think they have more money because than they do, because maybe they have it in a bank account, which I highly recommend using a bank account. We'll talk a little bit about that too, but having some kind of a system, okay? Because you might look in your account, and you know what we do now, because we do money differently. Years ago, we used to keep track of our money in a checkbook, on like a check registration type of thing, check register. You wrote everything down. Maybe some of us still do that, but you keep track of your balance in your own records. We don't do that. We go to our phone, we go to the app, and we look at our bank account and we see how much money is in there. And what we think is that's how much money I have to spend. But some of that might need to be spent on bills or goals. You remember the things we're trying to reach, savings, emergencies, things like that. So it's important to have a plan for it. Sometimes it's nice to use cash if you're able to for certain expenses. Everybody's different, but it's helpful in the grocery store. If I bring cash in the grocery store, or even maybe we're using like a card, maybe we're getting some assistance with that, it's still important to keep track of like what I have available and to have a plan for that, because we know how quickly money can go. Sometimes having separate accounts, or so maybe this account is just for all my bills, this account is for my savings, this account, when I say account, I'm sorry, bank account is for this or that. Having a system separating what you need would be very, very helpful. And then see how they could do that. It's just a way to organize it. So now you know what you have, what you need, you have a calendar, you have your goals, and then you have a system for how you're going to spend that money. No one's system's going to be the same. It's going to be, I mean, they might be similar, but it's all different depending on what our goal is. Oh, there's the money going in there. All right, and step 7, right? Write your plan down and have and make it work. We're 90% more likely to reach a goal if it's written out and we have some type of a plan for it. Without it, without a plan, no, we kind of, and that's with anything. It's just, we might wish it to happen and we have intentions every single day to make those changes and to do the thing that's going to make us have that peace of mind and help us with our health and our wellness and our finances. But if we don't have that plan, a lot of times it might happen for a day or two. It doesn't, we can't stick to it. So we want to just have that timeline, to have a plan. So this is just a form, and I'll get you this form if it's money that you, if it's the finances, where it's create a plan. So remember that person, they had $240 left. If I divide it per week, so a month is 4 weeks, the week per week is 60. Per day, that's $8.50. Think about what we could spend $8, even though we don't want to think about it and we might not feel it, how quick you could spend $8.50. That's like nothing now. It's sad to say it, but it really is. Like you could go get a coffee, you could go to the drive-through quick, take the kids, boom. You could spend that in a day without even thinking about it. That's about $240 a month. So if I make those little changes, right? So now I broke it down. I have 2 goals. This person has 2 goals. They want to save for a house, down payment. They want to save $5,000. They also want to save $3,000 to pay off debt and improve their credit, right? So if they take 240, they got 150 for that goal, 90 for that, equals 240. Within 33 months, it's just a little under 3 years, they'll have that goal met. That's not considering any additional money, like if they get taxes or something like that, because that can help them get to that goal even faster. But having that plan, and even if we fall off the plan, it doesn't have to be perfect. We would just want it to be better than what it was. Even if we're in a good position and we're doing well with things, and we feel like we're managing it, it's always good to keep track of it, keep maintaining it, because money changes minute by minute, day by day. So having a plan will help you reach those goals and have that peace of mind. So now if you feel like, maybe I would like to do this, but I don't know how, and you need some support, we are here, CCCS of Rochester. Right now, all of the whole office, except for a few people, are working remotely. That means they're not in the office, but we can still offer counseling. They're doing counseling just like this now, so you can see the person. So it's more comfortable, or you could do it on the phone if you need that support. So if something's changed with your income, if you're behind on your bills, if you have credit or debt, I should say, that you want to pay down, maybe, it's collection accounts, maybe you're overwhelmed with your credit cards, right? We can help with that through a counseling session. We're genuinely committed to providing guidance to help you achieve financial peace of mind, which is a very big deal, especially now. Right, January, we're going to be very, very busy because it's the beginning of the year. Right now, we don't get too many people, but that's okay. We get a jump start on it. So we could start planning, and making a plan for anything, any money that's coming in. A lot of people are in like loan deferments and things like that. Those are going to be done soon. So we want to have that financial peace of mind to know that even though I know things are changing, I still have a plan and I'm going to reach those goals. It's free to talk to someone. It's individualized, it's confidential, comforting, and motivating. We do budget and credit counseling. We have debt management programs. So if someone has debt that they're trying to pay down, but they need support in consolidating it, maybe they want to try to reduce their interest or their payments, or just make it an easier method to pay off those balances, that debt management program will help someone to do that. So that's part of when we're doing counseling, we look at that. We also have first-time homebuyer education. So if that's a goal for us, and I say it all the time because it's such a big goal for people, educate yourself while you're saving. Educate yourself about what programs are out there to help you. Educate yourself just about buying a home in general. Let's not fall into any kind of a scam or something, not scam, but something that's not affordable for us, right? Foreclosure prevention. So if someone's in a mortgage and they're paying a mortgage and they're behind, there are a lot of options depending on the type of loan you have to help you to stay there, to figure out what can be done. But you need help to get paperwork together, to talk to the lender, or if you need help, to talk to the bank, I should say. We offer that type of counseling to try to help someone stay in a house if they're behind on their mortgage. We also offer reverse mortgages. That's for individuals who are over the age of 62 that want to borrow against their home. And bankruptcy. So if someone's look at bankruptcy is when someone files for total debt relief because they can't pay any of their debt back. It's a legal process, not illegal, I'm sorry. It's a legal process. And it's very in depth, but it depends on the situation, but somebody really needs to understand, what's involved in that. And so we educate about that. We help people to understand that process. So a session is booked for about an hour, and we just talk and look at numbers and make suggestions and figure out what you can do to help you reach those goals. And then there's also part of consumer credit is financial empowerment centers. So this provides free one-on-one financial counseling as a public service. So this was supposed to be where these counselors, special counselors, would be in locations. I think there was one at your school, or there was supposed to be. So if somebody needed to get connected to get help with their finances or their money, they can talk to them. You can still do it. It's just on the phone, okay, or in video. It's just not in person right now. But this is nice because this is where you would have an appointment with someone. You can meet with them. Oops, let me just turn this off. Every month, and it will help people to stay on track. So they're financial empowerment centers. So that's our building. We are located at 1050 University Avenue. And now I will leave it open for questions. Here's our contact information. I do have an evaluation I can get out to you guys. Whatever's the best way, we'll figure that out when we're done here, along with some paperwork to help you. So I can open it up for questions. I hope I didn't talk too quickly at this point. So what do we have? Anything we want to discuss or questions or anything like that? I hope this was helpful and that we learned something, or even if we know this, it's a refresher. It's a good refresher for anyone.
I have a question.
Yep. Let me turn my phone up. Hold on.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can. Now I can.
Okay. How do you say I asked this question before. Like when you're on a student loan, and you say if you was trying to get a loan from the bank and to pay up your bills and then pay the bank back the money you owe. How come they don't do that because of your credit?
So I might not have heard. So you said a student loan.
Okay, say I had a student loan.
Mm-hmm.
When I was 18 years old, I'm up in my 60s now. But I'm saying is, my thing, if I want to borrow something from the bank, like money from the bank, would that student loan stop me from getting the loan from the bank?
It could, if it not just having the student loan, but if it's behind or was behind recently, then it could. It just has to be current. So current could mean it's in a deferment or a forbearance. It just can't show that the payments aren't being made. If not just having the student loan won't stop you, but if it's but delinquent, it could. And that's where we can kind of help somebody look at it and figure out what they need to do, if that's their goal, to get that back on track. But it all depends on the credit situation. That's a good question, though.
Stacy there? She's still there?
Yeah, she's there.
Okay.
She's here.
All right, I'll give her a call. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah, she's great. She's great. She's one of the financial empowerment counselors. She's worked at Consumer Credit for a very long time.
Yeah, she was here in January.
Oh, was she? Yeah. So there is. I thought so.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Of course. Anybody else going to ask a question? Thank you for asking a question.
I think it might be a little hard sometimes, as so many people are watching this presentation in one room, so they might not feel like, talking out in front of everyone with the questions.
True. That's true. I know it's so different. I try to make it almost the same as if I'm there, but it's just not. So, but it's still good. We can still get the point across. And there's my email. Write it down. If you have a question, call me. It's okay. Call me or email me. And it's fine. Or if you need to talk with someone, as far as counseling goes, I should call it financial counseling. I'm just so used to calling it counseling. Everybody's really nice, and they really want to help people succeed. So if we need to get anyone connected, I just wish we could still be there. We're so excited about that. But we're still here. It's just, I guess, not how we intended to be.
Well, Andrea, since there are no more questions, I'd like to thank you for sharing this wonderful and useful information with everyone. Again, I know it's hard when you can't see everyone's faces when you're presenting, but it is very useful. Thank you to everyone who had joined this presentation today. I do hope that you have taken something from this and it will help you in your future. And please remember, if you need more assistance, you can contact Consumer Credit Counseling Services of Rochester. And I'm sure one of the wonderful staff will sit down with you through a Zoom meet, and they'll be able to assist you with anything.
Absolutely. Thank you for attending and thank you for having us. I really appreciate it. You're welcome. Thank you, everybody. I hope everybody stays safe and healthy. And like I said, I really enjoy working with everyone. I love coming to Oasis and just talking to everybody. And we appreciate you guys reaching out, and anything we could do, you just let me know.
We will. Thank you again for joining us today, everyone.
All right.
Have a wonderful day.
All right. Bye-bye.